I'm very grateful to all the parents also. After spending whole long tiring day, and in most of the families, both parents are working, and so many more things are there. So I really acknowledge and I'm grateful that you are able to attend this session. And before we start this session, just let's have some engagement. Let's type in the comment box that if you are really excited to know how to future secure your children. If you are really excited to know how to future secure your children, just write excited. All right. Yes, we have started to receive some responses. Parents are excited.
We are getting, yes.
Vishwaji is excited. Red MI, Redmi. Okay, sorry. Shalini ji, Nidhi ji. All right, Yukta ji, Priya Joshi ji, Avni Patil. Fine, fine, fine. Thank you so much. And as soon as I am like seeing parents and ma'am in front of me, I'm feeling the weight of responsibility. And I am also excited with regards to how the future is shaping up and how actually we have to start helping our children right now. So without further delay, let me begin. So what exactly are we going to have in this particular session? In principle, it's going to be about this. Basically, when we think about from children's perspective, it is about at present we want to we are concerned about the academics, how they are doing good academics, how they can do good, and we can balance pressure and all those things. Then the focus is career, and then life as a whole. And when we are talking about the future, the important thing what becomes is first we have to understand the present on the basis of the past. So I'll just share something. I am basically I won't be going deep dive about introducing myself, but I studied in Pune from PICT College, Pune Institute of Computer Technology. I'm a pass out from batch 2009. And after working in software for some time, I realized that I want to be a teacher, a coach, a guide. So I moved into teaching field, and since then I have been connected with the teaching field. And in 2000 year, 4 years back, somewhere around 2017, I was teaching in Symbiosis in Pune itself. And at that point in time, interacting with children on a long period of time, what I realized is so many of the children there do not have touch with the field which they are in. That is, many of them are not at all interested in engineering. And I felt a lot of surprise and pain because from my perspective, I was already in a field in which I am passionate about. So I was assuming they are also passionate about that. But most of them were not. And unfortunately, they are wasting 4 years of their, I won't say wasting, but they are misinvesting or investing in something which is not they are which is something which they are not planning to pursue in long run. And in terms of their personality, their nature, their aptitude, their interest, strength, weaknesses, they have not analyzed sufficiently before deciding the field. So that's where I started to backtrack, that why exactly people are ending up like this, and how can they be helped, and what exactly is going on. So before we go inside the future of for our children who are in school right now in classes 8 to 12 or anywhere in lower classes, they are going to be in the workforce in 4 to 5 to 6 years of time. So let's get into the present. What is exactly existing presently at this point in time, and what happened in the past because of which the present systems are existing, because that will help us in setting the context properly to move ahead in the future. So I'll be requesting you to watch a 4-minute video which will just in very brief explain what systems are existing at this point in time.
What is going to be the future of learning? I do have a plan, but in order for me to tell you what that plan is, I need to tell you a little story which kind of sets the stage. I tried to look at where did the kind of learning we do in schools, where did it come from? And you can look far back into the past, but if you look at present day schooling the way it is, it's quite easy to figure out where it came from. It came from about 300 years ago. And it came from the last and the biggest of the empires on this planet. Imagine trying to run the show, trying to run the entire planet without computers, without telephones, with data handwritten on pieces of paper and traveling by ships. But the Victorians actually did it. What they did was amazing. They created a global computer made up of people. It's still with us today. It's called the bureaucratic administrative machine. In order to have that machine running, you need lots and lots of people. They made another machine to produce those people, the school. The schools would produce the people who would then become parts of the bureaucratic administrative machine. They must be identical to each other. They must know three things. They must have good handwriting because the data is handwritten. They must be able to read, and they must be able to do multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction in their head. They must be so identical that you could pick one up from New Zealand and ship them to Canada, and he would be instantly functional. The Victorians were great engineers. They engineered a system that was so robust that is still with us today, continuously producing identical people for a machine that no longer exists. The empire's gone. So what are we doing with that design that produces these identical people? And what are we going to do next, if we ever are going to do anything else with it? So that's a pretty strong comment there. I said schools as we know them now, they're obsolete. I'm not saying they're broken. It's quite fashionable to say that the education system is broken. It's not broken. It's wonderfully constructed. It's just that we don't need it anymore. It's outdated. What's the kind of jobs that we have today? Well, the clerks are the computers. They're there in thousands in every office. And you have people who guide those computers to do their clerical jobs. Those people don't need to be able to write beautifully by hand. They don't need to be able to multiply numbers in their heads. They do need to be able to read. In fact, they need to be able to read discerningly. But that's today. But we don't even know what the jobs of the future are going to look like. We know that people will work from wherever they want, whenever they want, in whatever way they want. How is present-day schooling going to prepare them for that world?
So, yeah. All right. So, from this perspective, like this, I just wanted to set the context that we can clearly see that we have basically three primary concerns based on the system which is existing right now. And those three are: initially, we want to find out one of the best schools where we can get our child educated. Then somewhere around class 10, as you can see.
Sorry to disturb you, Vipul sir. Can you just unnote that setting? Someone is scribbling on the screen actually.
Okay, ma'am, just a minute.
View option, and you can unnote that.
What exactly is to be done?
There is view in view
Remote
option,
control.
I think. Yeah, unnote it. Unnote it.
When I'm clicking on annote, it is showing me certain options, mouse, select, and all that. I think remote control has to be.
Exactly. Yes.
I'm not aware how to change. Yeah, disable annotations for others.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Now
Cool.
you can go ahead. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So like now we are talking about the future, but the point is the system which is existing right now has come from the past, as Mr. Sugata Mitra has explained. And in this system, we primarily had three concerns. Number one is to find out the best of the schools. Number two is when somewhere around class 10th, we want to decide about the stream which our child wants to take. And finally, the third concern is this. That is, we want to find out about all the competitive exams. We want to find out about good colleges. Previously, it was very much limited to India, but in last 5 to 6 years, the abroad thing has just shooted very much. And ultimately, the goal is the good and a secure job. So this is what is existing right now. But now, what is happening in the real world, right? Because of which challenges in the context of the scenario is being experienced and which has led to the birth of National Education Policy 2020. This particular video is from somewhere around 2013-14, and National Education Policy was under the process somewhere around 2015. Finally, it got exposed to all of us in this particular year, but it was under formation since 5 to 6 years. And what exactly are the challenges in the real world which have started to come up based in context of the system which is existing, because of which we need to change the whole education system? This is how I would like to begin. I'm really sorry, थोड़ा सा आप लोगों को पढ़ने के लिए मैं मजबूर कर रहा हूँ. बहुत ज़्यादा reading का content नहीं रखा है मैंने, but this is something really very, 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 very important. So, when in the 1986 and 92, the national policy on education was formulated, it was difficult to predict the disruptive effect that the internet would have brought. So here the keyword is internet, and our present education system's inability to cope with these rapid and disruptive changes places us individually and nationally at a perilous disadvantage. I know you all can read it. I'm just simply repeating, but I want to emphasize what importance here the rapid, the disruptive, and the internet word is being used here. And the policymakers are actually giving due consideration that what is happening in the real world is challenging, and we need to do something with our education system. So the policy has finally come. But the result of that is this. The world is undergoing rapid changes in the knowledge landscape with various dramatic scientific technological advances such as rise of big data, machine learning, artificial intelligence. Many unskilled jobs worldwide may be taken over by machines. Now, I'm going to show you that they not may be taken by the machines, they are already being taken by the machines. This is the dirty fact. Somewhere around the year 2012, futurist Thomas Frey, his name is Thomas Frey, futurist, he expressed that by the year 2030, we are going to lose 200 crore jobs which are existing at this point in time. That was in the year 2012. And if you go on YouTube and if you search for a TED Talk 2030 job crisis, you will be able to scientifically understand, because in education policy, one of the principle for children which is being mentioned is about developing scientific temper. So scientifically, they have explained how this particular thing is going to happen by 2030. And here it is important for me to express that why I am discussing about this is somewhere the point in time where our people or our children are going to be part of the workforce. If we are moving forward according to the beliefs or concepts which we have formed based on the existing system. Now, before we move on to next section, I just want to do a small thing. I also want to utilize the scientific temper concept and discuss everything on the basis of education policy. So we saw the word rapid being used in the education policy. Now just observe how many times and in what context the rapid word is being used. In today's rapidly changing world, number one. What is number two? With the rapid changes occurring in the world today in the realm of climate change, population and management, biotechnology, and expanding digital market space, the rise of machine learning and artificial intelligence. Again, rapid changes occurring in the world today. Next, the same national policy, the first sentence which we have read, that our present education system's inability to cope with these rapid and disruptive changes. I know it's sounding a little bit theoretical, but it is very important for rapid adoption solutions do not become outdated with the rapid advances in technology. Again, fifth time, rapid. Again, next, since technology is rapidly evolving, next, also evolving in keeping with the rapid changes in technology whose half-life reduces with each passing year. This is something very important, that whatever is the part of education system in the higher realm, the knowledge is becoming obsolete in next 4 to 5 years. This is happening at this point in time, and that's what the word use, the rapid, is being utilized there. Now you may say कि okay, these are all theory, we have been hearing about it, सुना है हमने इसके बारे में, चीजें rapidly हो रही हैं, change हो रही हैं, तो उससे हमें क्या है? उससे क्या है? वो है बहुत ही important चीज, and that is, it is not going to happen in the future. COVID has accelerated it so fast. COVID had accelerated it so fast that something which was supposed to happen in due course of time, somewhere around 2025, 26, 27, and gradually, because all these predictions are just in some kind of stats, it's not just कि future ऐसा ही होगा, but COVID ने उस prediction को इतना fast forward कर दिया है. That is what I am going to show you through certain examples. Let's start with example number 1. This is a company. This is a company known as AMP Robotics. Before COVID, this particular company is in recycling, and they were having many employees within their institution, and they were doing the recycling process. After COVID, because we had to maintain distance with each other, and in recycling centers there are so many people close to each other, most of those people had to be laid off. They have lost their jobs, and this particular recycling company has started full-on use of automation to do the recycling work.
There's a tremendous amount of value captured in paper and plastic and metal that right now is lost at the landfill. The trouble is, the value of this material is really eroded by the cost of sorting it out in these recycling centers. Today's technology requires a tremendous amount of manual labor to ensure high purities of materials. But now that's changing. And what that means is that previous operations that were done manually and maybe done a little haphazardly can now be systematized, controlled, and automated.
The technology that AMP has developed in this vision system is that it perceives objects that are potentially bent, deformed, folded, crushed, just like you and I would if we were looking at the materials in these sorting facilities. So it's using the same kind of perception and logic as a human being. What we're able to do is not only quantify and sort how many coffee cups there are, but we could also report how many Starbucks cups there are.
AMP Robotics was started with the idea that robotics and artificial intelligence could change the fundamental economics of the recycling process. Today, we have systems deployed all around the world, sorting construction and demolition, electronic and municipal solid waste.
So this is the first example of the exponential. Actually, dear parents, I know most of you are aware that it's not that automation and robotics and all these things or artificial intelligence has come recently. It has been coming since the factories started, industrial revolution started. But the kind of exponentialism it had since this last 2-3 years, and what COVID is doing to it, this is what I'm trying to communicate, that how fast the transition is happening. Now, a very weird kind of example. I won't say it is weird, but something like this is David's bridle. This is a company which had more than 300 centers, 300 centers around United States and United Kingdom. They used to provide 300 outlets. They used to provide all the bridal dresses and other whatever is mentioned there, dresses, juniors, accessories, and all that. And they had called
Hello, Vipul sir, you are not audible. I think some network issue. I think some connectivity issue. Just we will wait for a minute.
I think I got logged out.
Yeah, now you are audible.
Okay, okay. So this is another example of what COVID has done in terms of jobs actually being lost and are now not going to come back. Now I'll give you a third example. This is about the people who work at tolls. This is not about India, it is outside of India. Again, the policy came up, they came up that cash is not being collected at Bay Area bridges due to COVID-19. All those toll people, this particular software or artificial intelligence based application has completed, the shifted, all these people have become jobless and now they are not going to have any job. I would like to give another example. This is about an automation product, Savio. So, you know, in the many of the hotels and all, where they have all these people coming to room to supply essentials, this particular company has made products which are not doing it for those hospital industry. Here you can see healthcare industry. In front of you, the video is going on with regards to healthcare industry. This is same is happening in the hospitality industry and logistics and high rise, as they have mentioned. And if you'll explore, you will come to know much more about what exactly. But again, practically jobs have been lost. Another example, which is not exactly relevant at this point in time with regards to COVID, but this is Otter.ai is a particular application which helps in runtime conversations, whatever I am speaking right now and sharing with all the parents here, all these things are immediately transcribed. That is just one benefit this application does. And if you are aware, previously there used to be people who used to work as a freelancer for this thing, where they used to transcribe and used to charge $1 for every minute in terms of transcription. So those jobs are also gone. Why? Because these softwares can do much more beneficial, much more efficiently. If you have observed in the robotics part, they were actually able to segregate different types of particles. And as one of the person was mentioning, that we can even find out that how many Starbucks cups are there, which is generally possible for the human. So how much machines can actually copy human has been proved in this short span of COVID, has been very clearly been explained how jobs are going to get lost. So coming back to our presentation here, that it is not something theoretical because of which the new education policy has come up. It's something very, very, very serious. And now we may have a perspective that, all right, okay, so these are the jobs like, these are not exactly STEM related jobs. for which our education system is existing right now, that is science, technology, engineering, mathematics. These are more in the side of the unskilled jobs.
Rekha ma'am,
let's come-
please mute yourself. Rekha ma'am, yes. Sorry, sir. Yeah.
So now, yeah, no problem. I hope parents are, let's have some expression from the parents. How is it going on? I've been speaking. So is it interesting? Please write interesting. I hope I'm not boring you all. So I have certain things to communicate, but let's find out if it's interesting to you and you are not here. All right, yes. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Right, Kates, Mayuri ma'am, Deepali ma'am, thank you. So moving on to now, we may see from the perspective that, okay, sir, these are most of those unskilled jobs. Okay. Let's come to Indian scenario of education system from credible sources, not something of my opinion. I'm using the basis of all the credible sources here. So this is from Business Insider. Again, a credible source. What it is saying? More than 50% of students will not have skills for 21st century jobs. This is warned by UNICEF. Next, 99% of MBA degrees and 80% of engineering graduates are unemployable. Next, a very painful scenario of 93,000 candidates applying for a peon job where 3,700 people have done PhD. You see, the education system and the education which we are deriving has to be correlated with the real world. If our education is not going to contribute any value in the real world, the amount of energy and time which we have spent there without developing a particular relevant skill which is valuable at this point in time in the real world, we are not going to get the opportunities. And the thing is, the real world is changing rapidly. This is what we actually I wanted to come to, that 65% of the jobs which our children will have 5 to 7 years down the line, actually nobody is knowing clearly what exactly. Nobody can pinpoint on today's date. We can decide about the stream that yes, science will have a job, but the nature of job, nobody can say 7 to 10 years down the line what will be the nature of job in terms of mathematics or in terms of science or in terms of humanities or biology. But yeah, broadly we can say it will be in these fields. And that's where the most important point which we need to help our children comes through the education policy, at least in terms of the intention and the conception. Page 1, they are mentioning, indeed, with the quickly changing employment landscape and global ecosystem, it is becoming increasingly critical that children not only learn, but more importantly, learn how to learn. I'll repeat, it is becoming increasingly critical that children not only learn, but more importantly, learn how to learn. So, my dear parents, it's not about skill development only. It is primarily about instilling the attitude, that is the state of mind within the minds of the children, that they have to be ready to learn how they are going to keep on learning throughout their life. This particular attitude is where the fundamentals or the foundation of securing their future is going to be there. Now, this may not immediately be clearly understood, and it's perfectly fine. I'll be explaining that also. But this may sound that okay, attitude hi to develop karna hai, to theek hai, kar lenge, kuch to kar lenge. It's not going to be that easy, because the teachers and the parents, unfortunately, I'm really sorry to say, we have come from the education system where most of us have not been trained through the system to have that particular attitude of learning how to keep on learning. We have been trained with a particular field, particular industry, particular skill, and more or less most of the people are surviving in the industry with regards to that particular skill itself. And mostly people keep on learning and increasing their experience so that they can move in the corporate ladder. So this is going to be really very important when it comes to our children, to make them to instill this particular attitude, that within your mind start accepting that you have to keep on learning and you have to learn how to learn. Now, what exactly this learn how to learn concept is, which is going to provide us the future security? It begins with this thing. Previously, in the old economy, that is of which we are part of and many of us have been part of, it started with that we have higher education, Then we go into the job field, and there we have the job ladder, those who remain in that particular industry. Many of the people nowadays are trying to figure out their purpose, passion, and interest, etc. in life, or which is also one of the reason for midlife crisis, that people are not feeling that contentment within their jobs. So keeping that aside, most of the people, when they are in corporate, you have to move in the same industry, and the ladder was like that: finding out, learning to do something so that you become more relevant, more experienced, and you get promotion. However, the new paradigm by all the futurists, this is not by some person, all the people are learn, engage that learning, from that learning, from that work, learn, and further engage somewhere else. And this process is going to go on throughout the life. So this attitude to be given, if like many of us can observe now at this point in time, we all have experienced some or the other challenge because of COVID. And when we face this challenge, we came to the, like, it must have come to many of us awareness that yaar kuch seekhna padega, abhi kuch to upgrade karna padega. So it was not so easy for everyone, because हमारी life उस तरह से form ही नहीं हुई है. Once we are in a family, we have so many responsibilities, in-laws, that laws, घर के basic चीजों को manage करना, बच्चों को manage करना, and so many things are there. ये attitude उस समय, even if the attitude is there within us, it is very difficult to apply that. What to speak of not receiving this kind of attitude from the education system from which we have come through. So I'm talking in very general context. I'm not saying specific to everyone. Many of you might be coming with that attitude, but going ahead in this future, this particular attitude has to remain intact at the foundation core level. Instead of deciding about different fields, this has to be done first. Again, the emerging reality and the old paradigm: education, work, retirement. Now the human life expectancy has increased, and learning is going to be throughout, and working will be a specific period. And you can see the relative change rate. This is little bit technical, may not be immediately understood. So I'll give a more practical understanding of what exactly it means to us in the real scenario. Just give me a moment. I'm sharing my screen, and here I am. All right, so she is futurist. Her name is Heather McCone, and she has been working in terms of predicting what kind of future is going to come. And what is she saying? You know, the policy में जो इंडिया की पॉलिसी में जो learn how to learn जो incorporate किया गया है, ऐसा नहीं है कि वो सिर्फ इंडिया में हो रहा है and it is only in the Indian context. It is going to happen world around. And so you can see, in the past we learned in order to work. Now and into the future, we must work to learn. The future of work is learning. This little bit I'll have to explain little bit more. I think today's time is little less, but I'll try to communicate as much as possible. One clear thesis. I hope the screen is visible and you are able to read it. In the future, those who continuously learn will continue to lead. It sounds simple, and yet our systems of education and workforce management are based on the opposite principle of learn, then do. Students learn a profession, workers strive for experience, all to be applied to the next known step in the career ladder. But what happens when those steps are not known? When everything is a first, when degrees and experience barely matter? To thrive in a future that is unfolding faster than we can imagine, we must become adept at learning continuously. That's why we believe the future of work is learning. This is where this particular angle comes up, when all across, like throughout the world, all across the globe, everyone is talking about this agile mindset of learning. Why? The reason is the jobs which are going to come are not exactly in the awareness zone of the people who are there in the top ladder of the world. Now 50% of the content of an undergraduate degree may become obsolete within 5 years. So by the time you are learning for 5 years and you go into the real world, things have changed because technology has changed. Now here comes something which will immediately click in your mind to understand from where all this research which is predicting the future is actually becoming true. Why hasn't higher education pivoted away from its central focus of preparing students for a first professional job aligned with their major field of study as a definitive measure of success of their education program? See, the education system is going to change. The policy has come with good intention, but the policies elements which are there in the system, those are already required at this point in time. The future is not going to come somewhere ahead in the future. Future is already here. Why we believe the cultivation of agile mindset is very important. This is what has happened. In the last industrial revolution, when companies grew through economies of scale, the focus of higher education was to train students to become business leaders and organizational managers who would optimize profit and minimize risk. That is where the foundation of current, like the MBA degrees of today's, which are now becoming more and more irrelevant, if it is not from really some very good colleges who are in alignment with the real world. Most of, as the FICCI has, the Federation of Commerce and Chambers have expressed, why it is because of this, because it was conceived for developing business leaders and organizational managers who would optimize profit and minimize risk. In this time, expertise reigned. So with few exceptions, a single dose of education to achieve mastery was standard. एक बार एक डिग्री करी और बस फिर लाइफ सेट हो गई. And sufficient for a lifetime career in an industry, if not in a single company. तो कम से कम MBA कर लिया है, अभी जिंदगी भर अपना सेट रहेगा. अब इस कंपनी से दूसरे कंपनी हाइक लेते रहेंगे, या जो भी आपको जिसके इंडिविजुअल्स के जो भी मोटिवेशंस हैं. But that is now going to change. Why? Despite this rapid change in business and the professions, now technology is changing all the businesses and real world is rapidly changing. Again, you can read the word here, rapid. But the education system in terms of higher education, colleges, universities continue to develop program goals as the transfer of predefined skills to a new generation of students destined for discrete careers. As we enter an era of rising automation marked by rapid industry disruption cycles and continuous change enabled by exponential growth in computing power, we need to think differently. Where we once lived in a world of scalable efficiency, we now live in a world that requires scalable learning. All right. So without more technical details, this is what we have to understand कि पहले जिस phase में हमारी education तक हुई थी, वहां पर एक बार एक स्किल सिखा दी गई, आप उसी स्किल के बेसिस पर काम करते थे और आप करते रहते थे. अब फ्यूचर में जाके ऐसा नहीं होगा. ऑल्दो ऑटोमेशन, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस आती जा रही थी, बट जिस स्पीड से वो इन लास्ट 5 इयर्स बढ़ी है एंड जिस स्पीड से उसने नेक्स्ट 5 इयर्स का काम कोविड के इस एक साल में किया है, all the predictions of the future are becoming very, very true in this particular period itself. So the overall principle is that this particular attitude of agility in learning attitude, in mindset, or learning how to learn, which education policy is also incorporating. This is the first principle which I wanted to discuss as we are talking about future security. Is our children ready for the future? That is what we are going to do. That is what we are discussing here. So this was the first concept. And now I want to, before moving into the next segment, I also want to share something very specific. Now, the question will come to you कि अरे इतना सारा डायनामिक्स और अनसर्टेनिटी है तो कैसे करेंगे कि अभी कुछ सीखा फिर पता ही नहीं उसका कुछ यूज होना है नहीं होना है. So if you are having these kind of feelings or thoughts coming up in your mind, please do not worry. They have also, the artificial intelligence is also solving this problem. That is how I'm.
I think again the connectivity issue is there. Vipul sir, you are not audible. He's joining again. I think some connectivity issue. Vipul sir, please unmute yourself.
So the immediate thoughts that if so much dynamics are going to be there, how exactly are we going to move ahead? यदि आज कुछ सीखा पता ही नहीं है, इसकी कुछ relevance है कि नहीं है, it's not going to be so uncertain because artificial intelligence is going to help us with that too. This is how, this is the company.
But we're embracing the future. We're trying to create opportunities for the future.
Is it audible?
Yes, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
We're not resisting it. We're not worried about it. We're optimistic about what the future brings, as long as we learn exactly what's going to happen. I think in the future, in generations to come, if we get this right, they'll look back on this period as the third renaissance, the humanization of work. It's very difficult for a computer of any sort to do the things that are fundamentally human. Computers are good at the jobs we find hard and bad at the jobs we find easy. It is cheaper to retrain and redeploy than make redundant and rehire. We're going to give you the skills to be successful in the economy because we are part of that economy.
So Fathom is a company which is having an enterprise product, and this particular product, what it does is this. So from here, we can derive the confidence. I know it might have sound a bit technical, but what exactly they are doing is when they are when these products are being deployed in a particular company, they are constantly monitoring the amount of like whichever position is open now, what is going to happen to those positions in the future, and what kind of new opportunities are going to come. So what is going to be automated, what needs to be augmented, where we can increase the number of people, and where the new fields are coming, so how we can retrain these people. So the attitude of learn how to learn is the foundation, and there will be definitely many more facilities. These are like such companies are coming up which will also help us in gauging, like, you know, anticipation is very important. Any sports which we play, suppose we are playing football or ice hockey, so there is some kind of understanding among the players from where they anticipate where the ball pass is going to come, so that we can position ourselves accordingly. So when we will be telling our children, they're helping them to develop this particular attitude of learning how to learn, they will always be aware about, okay, for next 3 to 4 years, this skill is going to help me with this thing, and they will be able to observe the transition which is going to come into the skill and what exactly next they can master. And because the attitude will be there that they have to keep on learning, when that attitude is there, you don't need to learn 8 hours, 10 hours every day. A small time on regular basis, everything is smooth. So future is going to be much more smoother if these important attributes are taken care of. So this was the first thing which I wanted to communicate. Now coming back to the second aspect of this, now let's go for another word. Now the question will be, all right, okay, we have to keep on skilling, we have to like keep on learning. So what exactly we have to keep on learning? That's what is also solved by our education policy. I'm going to search a particular word. And first time, finally, the education system is going to consider all humans as humans. All right, first time. What they are using is multidisciplinary, because we as a human being are polymath. I've been involved with agriculture. When my father got detected with prostate cancer, I never studied anything from the biology, but when he got detected with prostate cancer, I had such a strong motivation from within to find out the solutions. I learned from so many books, I consulted so many doctors and find out nutrition is this and that, and finally made an integrated oncology solution for my father. So I learned biology, which I had never thought that ever I can learn. So at different point in time, we will be learning different things, multiple disciplines, because we as an individual are not a maths person or a science person. We are humans and we have particular nature which can get manifested in different fields. So multidisciplinary use of this, multiple disciplines will be available for children. Finally, they can do whatever they want to do. Multidisciplinary, number one. Need for multidisciplinary learning, number two. How to be creative and multidisciplinary, again, third time. Same again, highest standards of multidisciplinary. They are referring to the education systems in the way past, in the Vedic times. They were multidisciplinary. Again, multidisciplinary and a holistic education across the sciences, social sciences, arts, humanities, sports, for a multidisciplinary world. The world is multidisciplinary. Again, the secondary stage, which is for our children, secondary stage, again, multidisciplinary study. So there is some reference given to the teachers also, that how teachers have to get connected with that. But you can see the reference points given in how many times multidisciplinary has been mentioned within this. Now I want to show you something more interesting. If you will go and search for the word rote, we want to move away towards learning how to learn. And just a second, I think the screen must not be visible completely. Now you see the rote word being utilized here. Number one, what it is saying, culture of rote learning as is largely present today. So acknowledging, finally the policy is acknowledging, because once a person honestly acknowledges, that's when the transition and transformation begins. Next is, again, emphasis will be on constructive rather than rote learning. Again, primary tests, memory, the aim of assessment in the culture of our schooling system will shift from one that is summative and primarily test rote memorization skills to one that is more regular and formative. Again, rather than rote memorization, application of knowledge in real life situations rather than rote memorization. So the highlighted part is showing the particular word rote. Now I want to show something more. We have discussed about multidisciplinary, how the education policy is facilitating multiple disciplines. So if if a child in your house may not be performing good in mathematics, may not be doing anything in the STEM subjects, but maybe doing something else somewhere in the music, it's perfectly all right, because he is going to have a future there. When I'm saying future, it's not just about the skill, it's about making money through that skill, because that is our primary objective. Now let's talk about the flexibility. Flexibility, so that learners have the ability to choose their learning trajectories and programs, and thereby choose their own paths in life according to their talents and interests. Mind blowing. Have you ever thought that anytime हमारा education system is going to help us to be flexible, कि जो दिल करे वो करो, जहां interest हो वो करो, and Three Idiots is actually going to become a reality. Now they are agreeing with that. Implementation, I am not saying anything about, because I have not made the policy, but the point is they are acknowledging that the real world needs requires all these qualities. So we have to acknowledge it. And even if, just like many schools are not able to provide the coaching or the kind of competency required to appear in coaching exams, and we develop those skills. Similarly, whether education system, whenever it happens, but real world it requires now, and we have to think and work in that direction. Flexibility, again, greater flexibility and student choice of subjects. I'll read this line a little bit from here. Greater critical thinking, greater attention to life aspirations, and greater flexibility and student choice of subject. Next, enable greater flexibility, innovative methods to achieve these aims of greater flexibility and exposure to. I'm a little bit faster, but if you can just get the crux of this thing, that flexibility is going to be provided within the education system. It is like, it's going to, the intention has been said that we have to make flexibility as at the core. And multiple places the flexibility is being used. Now, again, another very important word. The exact reason how Reena ma'am helps you all talk about the interest, the education system is going to consider that also, according to their own interest and aspirations. Next. Students will be able to choose many of the subjects in which they take board exams depending on their individualized interests. Next, each university will be able to see each student's individual subject portfolio and admit students into their programs based on individual interests and talents. There are innate talents in every student which must be discovered, nurtured, fostered, and developed. These talents may express themselves in the form of varying interests, dispositions, and capacities. Those students that show particularly strong interests and capacities in a given realm must be encouraged to pursue that realm beyond the general school curriculum. So due to lack of time, I won't be able to consider all the interest things. But the point which I want to say is multidiscipline. We, like the first portion, we discussed that the skills development is okay, because that's the word which is going on right now everywhere, is skill development, the skill. But the important thing is, most important, the foundation is learn how to learn. So anytime, now when we want to learn how to learn at any point in time, what are we going to learn? It is going to be multiple disciplines. How those multiple disciplines are going to be derived? Those multiple disciplines are going to be derived from every individual person's interest, nature, personality, and that is what, there is no hard separation between the branches. That's what we come to. This is what is the core of future secure. If we want to help our children to become secure going ahead into the future, the number one thing is the attitude. Number two thing is letting them explore the multiple disciplines in which they have interest. And based on those disciplines, the skills will be developed at different point in time, at different skills may get developed according to the needs in the real world by which you can contribute value. Now, this was the whole first segment, and like everything completed. That now there may be a feeling that why this is required so much. So many people are right now working in different companies and so much jobs are there. So इतना क्या इसके बारे में डिस्कशन किया जा रहा है, इतनी गहराई में हम क्यों समझने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं? तो उस पॉइंट को भी मैं एड्रेस करना चाहता हूं कि यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड द सिनेरियो राइट नाउ इन इंडिया and in world over. 80% of job dissatisfaction. That means 80% of the people who are in job are dissatisfied with their job, and many of the people actually want to pursue something of their interest or trying to seek their interest. However, it is very difficult once you are in a part of a system from where you are generating some financial funds to get out of that particular system. And this is the result of the education system through which all the people who are in the employment at this point in time, from which this statistics has come. This is what it is showing. The second stats is about global average is 70 to 80%, and you see the primary reasons is bad relationships with boss, colleagues, lack of growth opportunities, and package. So a lot of them are emotional and mind related, and that's where the particular attitude which we discussed, which we need to help our children with, it will also change this particular aspect of their life going ahead in future. In 2000, somewhere around last 3-4 years back, this survey was done in 189 countries where 200 job seekers were asked that if you are to move to different countries for work opportunities, what exactly will you be looking for? And the top 4 things are work के लिए appreciation जो कि नहीं मिलता लोगों को, relationships with colleagues जो कि बड़े challenging है current corporate structure में, work life balance, everybody is struggling with work life balance, and relationship with superior, boss के साथ relationship. Attractive fixed salary came at point number 8. So the whole point is, when we gift our children with the attitude, allow them to explore the multiple disciplines and let them build skills with regards to that, there is high chances that not just they will survive future in terms of being relevant in the workforce, but they will also get appreciated for their work and have all these factors considered. Now, let's move on to the second aspect about humanities and creativity. So let's go back to our education policy. I'm sorry, I'm going back to education policy and covering all these theoretical aspects, but it is important so that it doesn't sound some kind of my mental concoction. Yeah, I am just trying to base it that the policy has come according to the needs in the real world. And now when you type humanities here, humanities, there will be growing demand for humanities and art as India moves towards becoming a developed country. The curriculum must include basic arts, crafts, humanities, games, sports, fitness, language, literature. I know it is existing right at this point in also, but I want to communicate a particular point with regards to humanities, which is very, very, very important, which is not there in the education policy. So please be here. Again, multidisciplinarity and holistic education across the sciences, social sciences, arts, humanities, and sports in order to ensure the unity and integrity of all knowledge. Again, discussion of more abstract concepts in each subject, and students will be ready for at this stage across the sciences, mathematics, arts, social sciences, and humanities. Again, humanities, humanities, humanities. So as a parent, you may have question, okay, I know my child is in humanities, or maybe, okay, my child is not having any interest in the humanities. The point is something else. Humanities is definitely going to rule the future because of the main reason being this, that whatever machines are good at, they will take over. Everything that can be automated will be automated. So especially as a human, the qualities or the kind of work in the workforce which has maximum element of the human qualities, those are going to skyrocket. एक point of time पे, just like how engineering became hot, how computer engineering became hot, then the investment banking became hot, different fields have become hot because of the artificial intelligence, as we had seen in the FADEM, when we saw the video about the company who helps the companies to understand which skill to develop further. Everything that can be automated will be automated by the artificial intelligence, and therefore all the work which require human engagement much more are going to be in huge demand. But we need to know the skill to monetize the crafts or the humanity knowledge which we are having, for which our education system doesn't prepare us. So this is the second point to future secure our children, that it is not about skill development. Primarily, it is about the attitude, that is the state of mind. And secondarily, it is about हमारे पास कोई, हमारा ह्यूमैनिटीज में इंटरेस्ट है, हमारे पास कोई स्किल है. जैसे आपको एक स्किल है, आप किसी को हेल्प करना चाहते हैं, यू वांट टू कोच समबडी, यू वांट टू गाइड समबडी, or you want to counsel somebody. So you have that skill because of that particular personality and nature, but you got to have the skill of monetizing the skill which you are having. And that is why when you have something valuable to offer, let people know and offer your service or product. This has to be taught to our children right from now. It has to be begin. You can see in the second line, I have mentioned about marketing and selling, because these are the technical words. But many times when we hear these technical words, it seems like, "Arey, kya wo marketing, wo kuch bechne aa gaya." But if you see from the first paragraph, marketing is nothing but letting people know, and selling is nothing but offering our service and product. If you have something, if our children have something valuable, and they have interest in the field of humanities, just pursuing that field is not going to be sufficient enough. That's why at a point in time it used to be considered कि हमारा यदि बच्चे में उतना intelligence नहीं है तो humanity pursue करेगा, या somebody we see कि अरे वो तो humanities pursue कर रहा है because उसके पास intelligence नहीं है. It is not about that. It is that humanities की जो skill हमारे अंदर है, we do not know how to monetize that particular skill which we are having. And that is about marketing and selling, the second thing which we have to do. So I'll give you, I'll share a couple of careers which are right now happening in the real world with regards to humanities, which will open your mind that how it's not about lack of money in these particular fields. It is about not having the skills which are required. Just a minute, I'm unable to share that particular. Yeah. So this is example in a humanities field. When we talk, life coaching comes as a part of humanities field. So she is Pooja Puneet. She is mother of 2 children, and she is a life coach. And what I want to share is about, she offers one-to-one life coaching services. I'm just giving an example from the field of psychology or counseling or guidance in terms of life coaching, which is a field of humanities and a futuristic field. And I want to show you this particular amount which is mentioned here, just to give you the notion, I mean, clarify that the field of humanities की theory में तो आपने बता दिया कि आप कह रहे हैं कि humanities तो बहुत वो रहेगी, but उसमें earning कहाँ होती है? Earning होती है यहाँ पर, देखिए आप. One-on-one coaching with Pooja Puneet, 6 sessions of 60 minutes over 3 months of 1 lakh rupees. So yes, we will have to help our children. Suppose a child has a nature of becoming a coach. If we nurture that particular discipline of the child and give them, because she knows how to market herself and how to sell her coaching. That's why जो as a life coach वो जो भी accomplish कर सकती है किसी की life में, उसके लिए वो इतना amount charge कर रहे हैं. Now, if she would have had just the skills which she is having, but if she would not know how to market and sell her product, then how would have she brought the transformation in the people's life? So humanities, it's going to be the future, but we have to learn about marketing and selling, that is letting people know what particular skill we have and what value we can offer, and helping them to get our product and service. This is one example. Now, many people are having different kind of crafts. We all know, like especially if we go for girls and women, they have like gifted with so many of different kinds of crafts, but not having awareness about how to monetize that. So I'm giving an example about the color caravan. So you can see all the clothes these people are demonstrating. If you can see all the clothes these people are demonstrating, these are made with best quality of the products used from villages in the Himachal Pradesh. And what is amazing about it is this. These are the people who are very simple villagers who have all these arts, but because they have combined with this particular lady who has this Instagram channel, they are having an InstaMojo page where they are actually selling all these products. So arts, music, anything related to humanities are going to have phenomenal future if and only if the skill of monetizing the craft or the skill which we have, that is skill, that is marketing, selling, is learned. So this is the second point which I wanted to derive when we are talking about the humanities aspect, that we have to help our children have that basic understanding and basic learning about marketing and selling, so that they can be independent if they want to pursue these kind of fields. Now I want to talk about something in very short couple of minutes. There is a mystery word. If you search in the education policy, it is missing, but it is very, very, very important in our life. And the first objective of our choosing any career, apart from our personality and interest, is that particular word. And what exactly is that word? Any guesses from the audience? Dear parents, any guess you want to make? What exactly is that word? Let's see if somebody comes up with. Yes, we have around 40 participants. Can you guess a particular word, a mystery word, which is the first objective of choosing our career, but
It's humanities only.
No. Yes, Yukta ji said perfectly. It is about money. Yes. Uh, it is about money. This is the first objective. And you search new education policy, there is no use of the word money. So what are we actually going to do by this new education policy if we are not going to help our children develop proper attitude, proper beliefs, proper understanding, healthy mindset, nice money programming, because so much of negative beliefs are there in the mind. So in that perspective, from that, if I see from that perspective, this is something very strange, very mysterious, and it needs to be there in the education system. There has to be a system where children are helped to develop proper attitude towards money, because there are so many negative beliefs spread about money. Like many people say money is the root of all evil. Many feels if I will earn money, somebody else will not earn money. So these are all unhealthy programs, and many of these programs are unconsciously or subconsciously install हो जाते हैं हमारे children के subconscious mind में. And when they are working hard to develop a particular skill, and then they are understanding, आप जैसे कई लोगों के साथ ऐसा होता है कि they are working very hard to develop, I mean they have worked very hard developing a particular skill, but when they go out in the market, they are not able to earn, and then they become discouraged. And this is going to continue with the next generation if we are not going to provide proper healthy mind, healthy money programming for our children. So this is another aspect which is surprisingly, this particular word is not there in the education system. And now we move on to the last part, because I only have some more time being given to me. So there were certain things which I wanted to discuss. This very important thing which children needs to be shared, that the concept of money is value exchange. What exactly is meant by value exchange is, you see on the screen, you can see there are many things which we get through money. That is food, clothes, home, car, bike, marriage, children, celebration, insurance, savings, investment, social presence, vacation, movies, restaurants, on and on and on and on and on. And all these things require money. So these are the things which are valuable to us. So the laws of, according to laws of nature and according to concept of money, we have to become skillful to contribute some value in someone's life, either through a job, through system, through entrepreneurship, through individual work, whatever. To the degree we are going to contribute the value, to that degree, if we have healthy money programming, we are going to attract money. So this is a small concept. I just wanted to put across that, is our child future ready? Yes, they need to understand this particular concept of money. And there is a lot of about future academics, which I think time is short, maybe in some other session. About future of life also, there are so many things: focus, time management, communication, empathy, emotional intelligence, health, spirituality, mindset, anxiety, addiction, exam phobia, generation gap, depression, laziness, peer pressure, parental pressure, self-esteem, meditation. I don't know if this is going to be covered in our schools and education system, but this is the third vertex of the triangle, that is career, academics, and life. So we could discuss about the career. This is with regards to life and academics. So I just want to go to the last part, that when we discuss that, okay, we have to keep on learning. So we have to learn how to learn. Then the second part became clear ki, okay, based on our talents, our personality, we can get whatever we want. So now comes the third part, that how are we going to learn? It's about how do we become skilled. So for this, I want to share a particular thing. There are three ways how we are going to become skilled. First is existing. Second is online learning, which has come up. And third is the concept of academy. So what is existing? In the year 1800, that is 220 years before from now, first time a 4-year college degree was conceived. So the 4-year concept of college degree is coming from that point. So becoming skillful, this is one way, by going through a 4-year degree course or whatever kind of course, but that course has to be really having the syllabus of what is happening in the real world. So the curriculum has to be seen very much. Second is about online courses. There are so many online courses nowadays. However, most of the people are not aware that the course completion rate in online courses is less than 5%. So even if there is something of interest which people find, if they are not a part of a particular system, the completion rate is 95% less. On the contrary, we can see that many people may not be having interest, but once they become part of a system, mostly 90% they complete the graduation or post-graduation, whatever they get into, or even PhDs, and they get out of it. out of the system just because of the system. So, however, online courses or online learning is another thing, which how we can become skilled. And this particular methodology which I want to share is this one, which is very, very, very important. It's, if you understand this thing, फ्यूचर सिक्योरिटी का पूरा फाउंडेशन से लेकर बिल्डिंग सब हमारी बन जाएगी.
Bankrupt. Restaurants, hotels, and airlines are going bankrupt. But did you know that universities are also going bankrupt? Many people forget about this, but universities are a business. They have to pay for professors, for space, and for physical buildings. It costs hundreds of millions of dollars to run a university. And now, because of COVID-19, there are no students left on campus and no more revenue. That's why hundreds of universities will close their doors forever. This is a big deal. Even the richest universities in the world, like Harvard, are going in debt. And it all makes sense. Students don't want to pay $40,000 a year just to go on Zoom and get an education. It's just not the same. And families who have lost their jobs cannot afford college anymore. No more students, no more revenue, lots of expenses, bankruptcy. This is not supposed to depress you. I believe we will get through this. Every time we had a tragedy, humans were able to survive it. We invented the internet because of war, and we landed on the moon because of war. And in the middle of the COVID-19 war, we will fix education. Yes, all universities with beautiful campuses and $100,000 tuition may struggle. But here is my guess. We will see a new type of university that is much cheaper, much more efficient, and much smaller. And we will call it an academy. If you want to become a nurse, you will go to a nursing academy. If you want to become an engineer, you will go to a coding academy. They will cost 10% of the price of a normal school, and many of them may be online. Like the University of the People, it's tuition-free and entirely online. It costs 3% or less of a normal school with good education and job opportunities. In fact, at my own company, we believe this will happen. So we started the NAS Academy. It teaches people how to create videos. It's supposed to be the Harvard of video for 1% of the price.
Phew. So, although the guess which they are making about universities, like foreign universities, it's not 100% accurate. All universities which are quality universities in the foreign countries are going to exist. However, as I had mentioned, I want to repeat it again, that whatever the systems that are existing right now in India or abroad, all the systems which are existing, which will maintain the quality and their curriculum according to real world, will continue to exist. The online learning will keep on increasing. And third is this concept of academy culture is going to, it's already existing, and it already has like, it is like increasing day after day after day. And because it takes less time, less money, and to the point. And I'll give you an example of this in real world. But this is what is important for us to know, that futuristic companies do not require a college degree. This is not with regards to every particular field within a particular company. That Google में आप काम कर रहे हैं जितने भी लोग, ऐसा नहीं कि हर किसी में डिग्री की requirement नहीं है. But there are certain job profiles which do not require a college degree. This is important for us to be aware about. And as CNBC also mentioned, the future of work won't be about college degrees. It will be about job skills. So Google also has announced a plan to disrupt college degrees. So only the best colleges with best curriculum and are going to survive. That is for sure, but it will exist. However, ultimately, I want to give one example. Like, of course, the quality degree will continue to exist. However, it won't be the only way in many cases to become skilled. The college degrees are not going to be the only way. For example, in my particular program, like I talk about future careers. So I have 50 plus different fields in these fields, like careers within these 16 fields: health, digital, farming, alternate energy, stock market, occult sciences, technology, etc., 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 for which no degrees are required, and the skilling time is from 6 months to 1 year. So existing system, online courses, academies, like the people in health field, there are certain fields which you go to academy, you learn and you become skillful and you start contributing value and generating revenues or money for yourself. So everything is going to exist, and that is how, as we discussed, that we learn how to learn. Then we come to multiple disciplines, and then we develop about skills, and those skills can be developed through colleges, through online learning, through self-learning, or through certifications. Even through certifications also, like in America, for many of the technical positions, not just in United States, but in many countries, for technical positions, there are certain specific certification. You guess, and so it's a certification is like an academy only. So with regards to, again, the concept of money, I'm bringing it again into the future. This particular thing which we have to communicate to our children, gradually we have to prepare their mind. And the principle is to become something valuable so that we contribute some value in the market. Wherever we learn from, through degree, through certification, through academy, through self-learning, everything will work. Let me just show you a small, very small example of, this is the last thing which we are going to discuss, and the session will get completed. Many of you might have seen about it. In case if you have not seen about it, it will give you a perspective about what exactly is this academy culture. So this is Power MBA. The Power MBA. So in the academy culture, the principle in which is going to be applicable in academic culture is the learning will be happening from the people who are doing, and not just from people who are learning and teaching. I'll repeat, the learning will be happening from the people who are learning and doing and applying in the real world, and not just from the people who are learning and teaching. That's why the colleges are lagging in our nation, especially because the people who are teaching in the colleges, I myself was a teacher, but I was not regularly coding when I was teaching coding to children. So that may be sufficient just to give them some basic knowledge, but that's not going to remain relevant in terms of the kind of knowledge that is to be given. So I accept the cookies. What exactly, look at the cost price, somewhere around $975, which comes around to the price of 70,000. MBA degree. And who are the people who are going to teach in this particular thing? You are going to learn from Netflix co-founder, from Zuckerberg Media founder and CEO, from Carl Lords, from Lean Startup. Some companies I have heard about, some companies I have not heard about. So the point is, these are the people learning, and internet is making this facility of constituting an academy. So in this whole virtual, it's not going to remain totally virtual and online. You will have communities within your local. Suppose you are from Pune. So now many people are joining this particular course. Now you learn from the people who are from the industry, real world. They are teaching you real-time knowledge, which they are applying what is working in the real world, and it is relevant. It is coming at the cost price of 60 to 70, 80,000 rupees, an MBA degree. And it is not just like some kind of online learning. It is recognized by Forbes and many other organizations, and many people who are working in companies like Google and all are already, you can explore this. It will take some time for me to show, but they are already validating. I just wanted to show that it is being recognized. Basically, what I wanted to communicate is it is being recognized by the industry also. And you will have your local communities where you will be discussing about it. So this is one example I wanted to give about academy. So in principle, the thing is, go through a very good college or go through a particular academy, do self-learning. One has to become valuable to contribute value, and that's how the first objective of developing a particular skill, which is like how should we start earning, that comes. So this was in short, in whatever time ma'am had given me. And if there are any questions, any queries, any feedbacks, and any corrections, anything to comment and I should improve, I'm ready. And how did you find this session?
You were superb, Vipul sir. In short time, you have covered full NEP 2020. Parents were very eager in my groups that what is exactly the NEP and all. But you have covered a lot many things. I can say near about 99%. Still, if parents having the question, just we will have a quick question answer round in just 5 to 7 minutes. Any questions? Please write in the chat box. One question was there, Vipul sir, do you think this will increase more freelancing?
Yes, ma'am. Gig economy is going to increase. Now the culture of having more and more employees is going to reduce. There will be employees, there will be contracts, project-based freelancers. Everything is going to increase. Everything is going to increase.
You are getting so many comments. Very informative session. It was helpful about the NEP.
Ma'am, I'm also sharing the link. They can mention their three. I shared with you now their top concerns, and
Right.
I'll receive their email, so I'll also be able to give them access to the course, my course. It's available for free. This is the particular link. All right, very informative. We'll start early planning for our kids. All right, thank you. Thank you, sir.
One comment is coming. If my child is in class 10, should we enroll in regular school or enroll for online academy? Why waste time in school or junior college as well?
This is very important thing which I want to express, that it's not about going to this extreme or that extreme. It is about the balance. Just like Sugata Mitra ji has mentioned, that existing systems are also very robust. So we have to make best, because we have to make best use of that. If we have a whole system, we will have to develop a system, ma'am. If we take it from the school system outside and we do not have a system, then the child is going to miss a lot of the things which are available in school. Like so many interaction with teachers, with parents, not parents, with students, friends. So it's not yes or no, it needs to be discussed person to person. How do you, am I audible, Reena ma'am?
Yes, you are audible. If you can check the questions, you can also
answer. I'll answer. Okay. Really helpful. Thank you. How to get academy links, sir? Yukta ji. Academy links. With regards to which academy she is asking, ma'am? If you're talking about the course which I had shared about my particular course, so for this, I need your email ID. You can fill your email ID in this particular form, then I'll be able to give you access for that academy concept and the course. Also, how to choose good online courses. So eventually we see increase in unorganized sector. Mayuri ma'am, can you just little bit explain with regards to unorganized sector? Increase in what respect? If you can define little bit, I'll be able to more, based on my understanding, I'll be able to share more. How to choose a good online course? There are many of the websites like Coursera, and there is Udemy. There are many online courses. Number one, when you are going to choose an online course, number one, find out the instructor and find out what exactly instructor has done in the real world, so that we come to know whatever concepts he is going to share in that particular course, is the instructor actually has the relevant real world information. Number three, is there a way to contact to that instructor? Because when we are going through online courses, there are questions like हम जैसे क्लास में जाते हैं या गुरुकुल्स होते थे, तो गुरु होते थे, टीचर होते थे, हम उनसे सीखे और उसके बाद हम अपनी इंक्वायरीज पूछते थे. जैसे स्कूल में भी डेली बेसिस पे हम कोचिंग में जाते हैं, तो communication या shyness हो तो बात अलग है, but we have the opportunity to ask questions and we have the opportunity to interact. So you have to find out in these online courses all these opportunities, how much they are available, because it's very, very important. Otherwise, entry to ho jati hai because the prices have reduced, the knowledge is available, but the motivation or the intrinsic motivation which is required to go through that particular course, develop that particular skill for the purpose for which we require to utilize that in the real world, wo pura nahi ho pata. So these are some pointers based on which online courses can be decided. It was an extension to, yes, definitely. Freelancing questions, freelancing, a lot of work is going to increase freelancing. Gig economy, if you have heard about a website known as onlinebusiness.org, so it has already started, like एक प्रोजेक्ट आता है, ग्रुप में अनाउंस हो जाता है, इस प्रोजेक्ट में ये सारे काम हैं, और जो भी लोग उस समय फ्री हैं वो अपडेट करते हैं कि हम कर लेंगे, दिस पोर्शन वी विल डू, जिसका जिसमें एक्सपर्टीज है, एंड द वर्क गेट्स distributed immediately. So onlinebusiness.org, you can check on that, and you can also I've shared a form, this bit.ly navigate future. When you will share your email, then I'll give access to the course where you can learn much more about the gig economy. Fidaji is asking, sir, if we choose online course, won't we miss out on practical knowledge? Again, practical knowledge, definitely online course, if like suppose if it is about technology, if an online course is about technology, then easily the whatever practical we have to do on systems, so we will receive practical knowledge. Now there are certain online courses which are about sports, about music. In that context, we can just learn the concept, but unless we go to the sport field and we play, we are not going to learn actually. So yes, the conceptual part in fields like if we want to be in music or we want to become DJ, RJ, we have to go and perform in the real world also. But in technology, most of the things, like after COVID, technology industry or IT industry is one of the industries which has got least affected because people shifted to their houses and the work just kept on going. So from that perspective, practical is within the, like the resources are there when we are doing the online course. Very interesting, informative, eye-opener session. Thank you, sir, and Reena ma'am, Mr. Abhay. Thank you, Abhay ji. Please remain connected to Reena ma'am so that the talents, flexibility, and personality and interest, all these things can be discovered for the children. Okay, thank you for all the information and your time.
Yes, now I will hand over this session to Amrita.
Yes. It was a wonderful session, sir. I want to just summarize a little bit for everyone. So what are the takeaway of today's session? Keep learning as world is changing. If we won't update ourselves, we won't move further. That's a one takeaway, I think. And another thing, we need to definitely change our attitude, how to learn. And future, don't worry, future is very bright and full of opportunity. Just we have to be more dynamic and need to put ourselves in the way so that we can do right marketing. Whatever skills we have, we definitely have many skills as multidisciplinary field is introducing in our NEP. So definitely we can utilize that with right attitude and state of mind. We can definitely be more valuable to the world, and definitely we will earn even better. So I will definitely thank you so much to Vipul sir for conducting such an interesting session, and to Reena ma'am and Abhinav Career Scope for conducting such informative sessions for parents.
I'm also thankful to all the parents. Still 32 parents are there live, so I'm really grateful that पूरे दिन के सब उसके बाद for so much time you could spend. But
yes, sir.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Vipul sir, Amrita. They are all parents, students who have attended this session. And have a nice time. Yes.
If they have some question, then they can ask you also, and you can
Yes,
forward me.
they can drop the question in groups also. We will answer their questions.
And I'll also share the form with you so they can fill that form also.
Definitely. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good night.
Yeah.